Thank you for watching our shows. June and I love God and we love to share. We thank God for all the good things come from Him. Our number is 859-750-0000 and our email is js75000@gmail.com. You can check us out on our Facebook page, John Stevenson, or on our website, www.jstevenson.com. You'll see some little pictures as we go along here of the family, me when I was a child, or June and I, and some new ones this year, and some back when we were children as the Guyman family, and some of our friends such as Gil Hammond and Art Regal and Sheriff Corsenborn in Kenton County. An old campaign picture of me and Bruce Ferguson and Tom Kelly coming into Burlington on a campaign trip. And of course Eric, who almost always at the end of our shows, our little nephew Eric Guyman, gives the thumbs up on the shows, him and June. And we like to think the thumbs up are on this show, Europe by Train. Traveling through 7 countries in Europe. June and I, we took off and traveled through all those countries, didn't we, June? Austria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Greece, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, and I just had a great time, didn't we?
It was a wonderful experience.
And so you're going to see some pictures here shortly after the family pictures. There's the Stevenson family, all the kids. We were with some of them tonight, Holly and Pam and Michelle and Guy, and unfortunately Ben Cloud passed away. Our Guy's father-in-law, Amy Guyman, my daughter-in-law's father. He was a great man and a lot of great friends, and there was a wonderful prayer offered in his name tonight. So we were glad to be there and be a part of that. You see our little cats? We got 4 of them still, and then of course there's June, your little beetle, right? Which was
resurrected from the dead.
It was totaled.
Humpty Dumpty.
Thanks to help from the insurance company and a lot of good people at Mako. And there's the grandchildren again, Tegan and Courtney and Pagan and Dalton and Austin and of course now we got great grandchildren.
This is a
Lincoln,
great nephew.
And that's a great nephew
Little
there.
Parker.
Yeah, little Parker. Boy, we'll just sort of chat about some of these pictures. My little sister Judy was in a terrible automobile accident and hit by 2 young fellows on narcotics and being chased by the police department up in Ohio somewhere. And that's Miss Debbie, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Debbie Garnflow, who was our maid of honor and one of June's best friends for a lifetime. Of course, Larry Hensley back there, and my old cousin Darius Beach and Jim Noakes, and some other good friends there. Miss June, my favorite subject on my pictures and my shows, as you can see. There's her little beetle, all prepared, and of course I'm acting silly as usual.
As usual.
There I am, all dressed up in my new black shirt from Miss
You
June.
look pretty good there, John.
Where we went out and I sang
look
a
like
love
a weather
song.
woman.
You certainly do, and
the
you're right
weather
on
today.
television there. And I'm wearing my brand new tie and black shirt that you got me to sing You Are So Beautiful to 15 couples that got married out with Kenny Brown, the county clerk, and Miss Sparks, and all the good people out there at the Boone County Courthouse. There's our brother-in-law, Jay Brander, World War II veteran.
It's one of my favorite places to walk, Highland Cemetery. And if you want to find a beautiful place to walk, Highland Cemetery in Fort Mitchell.
There's Eric and June again. There you see some pictures of Mary Ruth when she was a young girl, and oh, let's go back, and there's, of course,
There's
my
our little baby
granddaughter.
Tegan and her hubby Devon. They live in San Diego.
And they came in for the funeral services today. And my brother-in-law Jay.
Ooh, who's that hot looking
There's a
couple?
hot couple there dancing at the inaugural ball down in State Capitol.
Dance me and world me.
I will dance you and world you did. And when I got elected superintendent of education for the state of Kentucky. There's June and I in some later pictures. One of June's favorite pictures.
Yeah. Rewatching our honeymoon, which will be 26 years ago this March 31st.
And you'll see about 9 shows on each one. Well, let's see, there'll be 2 hours, so it'll be about 18 one-hour shows on Time Warner Cable, and also fiber optics from the Cincinnati Bell Telephone Company on the public access channels 422 and 21 in Kenton County, 21 in Campbell County, as well as 422. And then the fiber optics channels too, your public access channel.
It was a wonderful trip.
Yes, it was. After this picture, you're going to see some pictures actually from the trip. Then we'll close with a few other family pictures, but the trip is what we're focused on here. So if this is the beginning of our series, you see it, wish us well and watch the trip. It'll be on different days. Of course, there's one of the castles that we saw, and you'll see some pictures of it later here. This is our Europe by Train series here. We filmed it back in 1989 and re-showing it here in 2015 with our 25th anniversary.
No.
Some of the beautiful
Our
26th
26th. You were
anniversary.
close, but no cigar.
Close? Well, that's the way I usually am.
Our 26th wedding anniversary trip starting March 31st.
The Vienna Choir and the Vienna Orchestra there at the Opera House in Vienna. Of course, that's where we flew into. And we stayed with Renata. And of course, there's some beautiful pictures in some of the beautiful gardens of you and I together on our honeymoon, of course. Don't forget, folks. And
Where did we go, John?
we went to Vienna and Austria. And of course, back then I was a pipe smoker. Still got a lot of my pipes. That book I'm looking at, by the way, is the Fromers, a travel book, which we used a great deal. We never had a single room reserved on the trip. Stayed in some beautiful places and saw some beautiful gardens. Overlooking the city here, this is where we went up and saw some of the, I guess those are grape arbors there.
Yes.
A magnificent trip, though. Vienna was a beautiful place, and Austria was a beautiful place.
Where else did we go? Austria.
Well, after we left Vienna and Austria, we headed over by train to Budapest. But before that, that night we went down and toured the inner city area of Austria and of Vienna. You saw some of the modern artwork there that on one of the buildings. We went to the downtown area and saw the St. Stephen's Church, I believe it was, which was a beautiful facility. There it is right there. They were working on part of it. Remember going through that big church?
Stunning. It was a stunning church.
Oh, beautiful. And the interesting thing about these places is the age of them. It's great that they're keep restoring them and keep their beauty up. And you can go through these countries who are not much larger than some of our states. But it's a great time to travel. There's the friends that we made in Vienna. The Corinthians.
In Vienna.
And there's an interesting story about the Corinthians. They just tried to take a little advantage of us.
We won't go into
We won't go into the details, but let's just put it this way. When you're over traveling in a foreign country, you have to keep your guard up,
Be
watch
careful.
what people are doing. And remember this, I was with a very beautiful lady, and she was very, very attractive, and, and there were some Corinthians that would like to have laid claim to my beautiful lady.
But
So
John came to the rescue.
John came to the rescue.
It was a wonderful trip. So much to see. We traveled for 30 days.
And in the video itself, you get to see the couple that we stayed with there in Vienna, Renata, and I believe his name was Husan.
Husan. Renata.
Renata, yes.
They're a very sweet couple.
And there's Miss June on our first bed there, and you'll see some pictures of each of us flying around here in Vienna before we take off for Budapest. I almost missed the train, by the way.
You sure did.
I went down into the train area at the restrooms, and over there you had to pay to use the restroom. Well, I didn't have any change on me, so I had to hunt down some change, and I almost missed the train. June was headed off with the money, and I was about to be left behind. Made it by a couple of minutes.
Back then, we were still looking at Yugoslavia and Hungary as communistic countries. So
The Iron Curtain had not come down yet. This was in 1989 that we were there in April and May for about a little over a month on the trip. Some beautiful sights.
There was so much to see that what I remember the most was we never wanted to close our eyes. We were afraid we'd miss something, so we did a lot of our traveling by train, which made it so exciting because we didn't have to do the driving. We just sat there and just took it all in, which you're also are going to be able to enjoy as well as if you were there. John got some wonderful footage of countrysides and cities and towns and villages and the people and the foods and the chocolates.
What you're going to see now going through here is some of the rooms in the beautiful castle that we showed you pictures of. I think it was Chambron or Charbroom?
Chambron.
Chambron, okay.
Chambron.
June has to help me out here a little bit. But you'll see some of those beautiful rooms here, and it's amazing the number of rooms that they had in this facility for the Habsburg family, I think it was.
Yes.
That was
Habsburg Dynasty.
the Habsburg dynasty.
We felt like royalty for several hours at a time.
Beautifully maintained, and of course mainly it's a tremendous tourist attraction now.
You know, the one thing you said, John, is so true, is that the age of the structures, the buildings, we're talking 600, 700, 800 years
ago.
old. In fact, when we were in Germany, in Munich, there were family businesses that had been handed off to their descendants for over 500 years. The bakery, the pharmacy, it was just, it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's a great pride in what people do in these countries.
And it's very interesting how they've taken not only the parks that are over there and these beautiful dynasty homes and restored them and kept them up for tourism reasons. It's a great asset for their country. But the parks are used actually by the people. These lands that were once owned by the dictators, the kings and the queens and the lords and those in charge are now being used by the citizens as parks, and they belong to them, which is sort of a neat change of venue. And the places are absolutely gorgeous, almost opulent, but the best of the best and the best of the workers, skilled craftsmen worked on these places, and to build them and to make them the beautiful places that they are. Traveling by the train, by the way, we did that by U-Rail passes that we ordered in advance so that we could get on and off the trains wherever we went across Europe.
And buses.
And buses. The only place that we really had to get a separate train pass was in the two communist bloc countries, and that was Hungary and Yugoslavia. And they call that the high adventure route, by the way, back then, and I think it probably still would be. But at this time, right before the Iron Curtain came down, we had some very interesting experiences there. Of course, you had to stay in places where the state recommended, because they were state-controlled by the Communist Party. And but we had to be very careful what we did in any of those countries, because you were watched, and their laws are different than what our laws were. So you had to be very careful what you did. Even me shooting film out the windows, they yelled over the PA systems for me to stop.
Hungary. Yeah, we were leaving
Hungary and going down through Yugoslavia. Yeah, toward Belgrade.
This was right, probably months, if less, before war broke out, and they stopped the train and
came aboard, took the
confiscated
camera
John's
away.
camera and my little Instamatic, and told us to film no more.
No
And
pictures.
we're not really certain as to why until several miles down the track, as it was getting dusk, and the edges of the tree lines were military tanks tucked back into the tree lines. It was a very frightening experience.
Now what you see here is, I believe, Budapest, this is.
Yes.
And some of the buildings in Budapest. Budapest, by the way, in Hungary is two cities. Buda on top of the hill and Pest on the bottom of the hill.
What divides the two cities?
Probably the Danube River, Donau, they call
But
it.
they call it Donau,
Donau.
but it's the Danube River. It's a beautiful thing.
That was their parliament that you just saw there.
I don't think there was a place that we went where we didn't experience hospitality. And even though John and I do not know any foreign languages, the communication was very rarely a problem.
You can see Buda on the hill there and Pest down below. And of course we met some couples there and on the trip that were traveling also.
We met that gentleman in Greece.
In Greece, I believe we met him in Greece, yes. And if you'll see us there, we're sitting right below the Parthenon. This is after, of course, we lost our camera going down through Yugoslavia, so you don't get to see that. This is where we're in Athens, Greece.
And John literally lost his shirt.
I lost my shirt. There's some
We were
Athenian.
staying in Athens and we were in this, had a little tiny balcony, and I washed his shirt out by hand and hung it outside to dry, and a big wind came and blew it out into the street below.
You can see on top of the hill there the Parthenon and
Acropolis.
Acropolis.
It was a beautiful, beautiful place to be in Athens. We were really disappointed because at that time
They had a
the
strike going on.
tourism cabinet was on strike, so we weren't allowed to go to the top.
But that helps them make a living, and we can understand that.
But what we were able to see, it was a real experience and a real joy.
And it was a wonderful experience sitting on top of the restaurant, looking up there right at the Colosseum and
The Platka.
the Plaka and the Parthenon and all of the old historic structures there in Athens, Greece. And I sang a little song or two too, didn't I, June?
What a surprise.
What a surprise.
What a surprise.
That gives you an idea there.
When we left Athens, we went to Patras.
Yeah, went right through Corinth and then on over to Patras.
Now, correct me if
Greece.
I'm wrong, but the ferry we were on, we went out through the night, we were in the Aegean Sea, and in the middle of the night, a storm came up. And our little compartment had bunk beds, and I was on the top bunk, and it tossed me out of the bed. That's
Absolutely.
how rough
That's
the
how bad
waters
the storm
were.
was. And it was up over top of our little
Our little porthole.
porthole window.
When we got on, we were way, way high up on this. When we say ferry, we're not talking the Anderson ferry. We're talking like a freighter, where there were buses and semis on the bottom of this ship that transported from one island to another. And they hit a really heck of a storm, and we weren't really sure we were ever going to see anything again except Jesus in heaven.
It was quite an experience. And then we went on to, there's a little bed that we had to sleep on.
Who's that good looking dude? Look, you really have hair there, John.
I did, didn't I? Oh my.
Is that in Salzburg?
Now that might have been Salzburg there, these pictures that you're seeing
The
right
fortress.
now. As you can see, I'm a little thinner there, folks. Lots of beautiful churches that we toured and saw. And I think that might have been that St. Mark's Church, June. Might be
In
wrong.
Venice? I think that is on Patras.
On Patras, oh yeah, it was on Patras, wasn't it?
Yes. In Corfu. We went to Corfu.
Now here we are, this is still in Patras.
Mhm.
Remember we went up on top of the hill there?
And we were invited to sit with these neighbors as they were sitting along the street drinking ouzo.
Ouzo.
Well, we didn't know what ouzo was till we had some, and oh boy, ouzo is really delicious, but very strong.
Very strong.
Liqueur.
But it was nice to just to meet with the local folks.
We had such a wonderful time being able to try different foods, and just the cultures were such a wonderful experience. And of course, wherever we went, what was my main objective?
And there's the manager of the hotel, the great Greek manager of the hotel, who was so nice to us, brought us up a bottle of beverages
And fruits.
and fruits.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
And then we headed over to the Greek island of Corfu after we left Patras.
One of my major objectives, I'm a chocolatier.
That's right. She loves her chocolate, as you will see in the show.
I did. I'm a recovered chocoholic as of 3 years ago. But you will see me. I promise.
In her worst days of eating chocolate.
I've had chocolate from every country that we traveled in. And enjoyed every bite.
That's right.
Unfortunately, there were a lot of that chocolate was meant to come home to children and siblings, but it didn't make it across the waterways.
Beautiful cliffs all along this area, and of course you see here some of the animals in the
on Corfu.
Corfu, on the Greek island of Corfu.
What a wonderful, that in itself was a wonderful experience. He was looking at you like, John, do you really have to take this picture?
I know.
I've kiddingly said to John, there are many books out, dummies for this and dummies for that. And I said, maybe we should call this the Europe trip traveled by dummies.
Right.
Because we proved many times over that we had some serious dummy experiences.
That's right. Well, I tell you what, right now you're seeing the Colosseum in Rome. So we jumped ahead here a little ways and are showing some pictures from Rome itself and our trip. Of course, I can tell you this, that there's a whole history to the Colosseum there, but it was really neat to sit right across the street from it and have some pizza, I must say. We traveled there by car, by the way. We befriended somebody by the name of Musafer from Turkey. He happened to be a pipe smoker, and I gave him some pipe tobacco on the boat coming over to Brindisi, Italy, and then we switched to his car. He had a Mercedes and offered to let us ride with him, so we rode with him to Naples, and then from Naples on up through Florence, and then on up to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, we got there quicker, and also we got to get a taste of what it was like to travel by car through the country. And that was quite a wonderful, wonderful time. Now there you see some pictures of, this is Venice here, where we stayed in the little hotel there with Johnny and I think it was the Lucian Hotel. Well, it's on the video. It tells you. You can see all these things in more detail when you watch the show.
We had no intention of staying as long as we did in Venice. I'm personally, I'm not a shopper, and I just thought perhaps this was going to be a tourist trap. We fell in love with Venice. It was an experience in and of itself.
Very romantic.
Romantic and beautiful and
just lots of things to see.
So much fun. Beautiful Venetian glass. Oh my goodness, the crystal. Beautiful things. And the history there.
Of course, this is back at the Colosseum again here.
Colosseum was
what's left of the Colosseum. And there's a lot left to see there. And the history, of course, of the gladiators and the Christians and the people that were there that fought with each other. Miss June, bless her heart,
and Mr. Zach.
And Mr. Zach, and it looked like Queenie was there too.
Queenie's here right now.
Queenie's here right now. There's
Helping
Musafer,
us.
the guy from Turkey that we rode with.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know I had a picture of him there. That's good. We had about 350 pictures altogether on the trip. Of course, most of the things that we did was video, and we did take a lot of pictures, but mostly video. And you will see that if you watch the shows. We had a brand new Canon camera that we opened up on the train, and unpacked it and used it that very first time. Luckily, we had enough battery power. We had to charge our batteries every night, and I had enough little small mini DVD tapes that we filmed this on, and then converted them to VHS tapes, and then now converting them to DVDs so that you can see the show on television. 26 years later, I had it on television.
Is that how long we've been married?
That's how long we've been married.
Wow.
We had renewed our marriage vows down at Latonia Baptist Church. And by the way, if you don't have a home church, let me recommend several of them to you. Erlanger Baptist is a great church. We were out there the other night at a big revival for prayer meeting service. Enjoyed that. Then you've got, of course, Oak Ridge Baptist, where Randy Wallace is a minister. One of the best Baptist ministers, one of the best people you would ever meet, Randy Wallace. And then, of course, down at Dan Francis is a minister down in our church at Latonia Baptist, where I grew up and went as a young man, and where Miss June and I go now, down to Latonia Baptist Church. And we have a great time down there. Some great people down there that Latonia Baptist. Come on down and join us. You're welcome. As my old cousin Willie would say, Willie Gaiman would say, there's a chair waiting for you right there.
That's right.
So come on down. There's no excuses.
There's
That's what's that? New Schwarzwald.
Neuschwanstein Castle.
The new home, man, what a beautiful place nestled in the mountains. Oh my gracious sakes, alive. Wait till you see that on video. I mean to tell you, it is strikingly beautiful. You'll see all the inside of it, hear about it. There's where we were at the ski resort, June, right there.
We took cog trains to the
Cog
top
train
of
to the top
peaks
of the peaks of the mountains.
Alps in Italy and in Germany and in Switzerland.
You'll see
And
some,
Austria.
and
There's a little
Austria.
snippet there.
And Italy. You'll see them all. And the beauty of it is just unbelievable. But you'll be able to see it on video on the show, so we hope you enjoy all of the effort that we put into filming it and editing it some 25, 26 years ago when we first showed it, and then now when we can show it all across northern Kentucky and in 1 hour shows on DVDs. By the way, I'm also doing a show out at the flea market right now, Richwood Flea Market, called Flea Marketing. We've done about 13 shows out there and working on the 14th one. We've got a booth out there right now. This is our 9th show this evening on our trip Europe by train. June Gaiman Stevenson, my wife, and myself would like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching our program for these last 9 shows. I'm sure that several of them that you haven't been able to sit through the entire thing, but I hope that you've enjoyed some of the experiences, some of the sights, some of the enlightenments that we've had a chance involved in this trip through Europe. Again, recapping, we traveled some 7 countries, beginning with Austria and Vienna, going to Budapest, Hungary, down through Belgrade, Yugoslavia, and what they call the high adventure route all the way down through Thessalonica and down to Athens, Greece by train, across to Patras and the Greek island of Corfu, on over to Brindisi, Italy, up through Bari, over to Naples, and up to Rome and Venice, Florence, and then on up into Austria, Salzburg and Munich, Germany, Garmisch, Berchtesgaden, on back down to Innsbruck and Zurich, Switzerland, and then a little town called Lucerne, Switzerland, and trips up and down the lake and through the Alps
the visits through the salt mines in Austria and to the highest peaks in Germany and also Switzerland, and then flying out of Geneva. And of course our program this evening is the end, coming back from the Alps and